My name's David Gates. I'm a furniture maker and designer. I trained as a designer way back in the 80s now, a long time ago. But I kind of ended up being a maker, and eventually, after working for a number of different cabinet makers, started working for myself back in the 1990s. So I feel that I sort of have tried to bring a kind of a design sort of background and a way of looking at things, and a kind of an aesthetic sensibility about how things look and feel and react to people, with a sort of craft tradition of making that I've picked up through being a furniture maker and cabinet maker in different workshops around London, working for other people. So I try and make furniture that does its job, that it's kind of functional, and it will sit quietly in a room without being sort of out of date or perhaps out of fashion in a few years' time. It's sort of based on sort of traditional craft techniques of making, and I try and do things that are slightly questioning of the objects that we have around us, and slightly questioning of how we use them functionally, but without them being too difficult to understand or use. So they're very, very directly associated to the furniture that we're used to, but just quietly, just one step removed from that, so that there's a kind of a slight distance between the familiar into something new. And I like to experiment with ideas like slight elements of asymmetry and sort of sculptural balance, and just trying to bring a sense of sort of grace and dynamism to materials like oak and steel that you wouldn't necessarily associate with those materials, by trying to use tapered sort of tops and splayed sort of turned legs, and trying to use quite sort of angular geometry with some of the leg supports and the leg stays. So it's trying to marry those ideas of using material honestly with the joinery, with something quite sort of dynamic and sculptural as well.